After the age of 65, life often changes in ways we never expected. The pace slows down, routines shift, and the world around us feels a little different. For many, it's a time of freedom. No alarm clocks, no deadlines, and plenty of time to enjoy the things that truly matter. But for others, it quietly becomes a time of loneliness, regret, and frustration. The difference between those two experiences doesn't come down to luck, money, or even health. It comes down to the choices we make every single day. You see, most seniors don't end up miserable overnight. It happens slowly, quietly, and often because of a few simple mistakes that go unnoticed until it's too late. These are the same mistakes that rob you of peace, weaken your happiness, and make you feel disconnected from the world you once loved. Mistakes that sound small but have a huge impact on your life after retirement. That's why in today's video, we're going to uncover 4 stupid mistakes most seniors make after 65 that lead to misery and how to avoid them. Now, before we start, I want you to take a moment and really think about this. You've lived more than 6 decades. You've seen the world change, you've faced challenges, and you've built wisdom through experience. You deserve peace, joy, and dignity in this stage of life, not confusion, bitterness, or regret. But the truth is, many seniors unknowingly sabotage their own happiness. It's not because they're careless or unwise. It's because no one ever taught them how to age with intention. We spend our youth learning how to make money, raise families, and build careers. But very few of us learn how to live well after 65. We're told to save for retirement, but not how to stay emotionally rich. We're told to care for our health, but not how to keep our spirit alive. So we end up repeating patterns that once worked in the past, but now hold us back. We hold on to grudges, resist change, ignore our bodies, and slowly start isolating ourselves from the world we once loved. And that's when misery begins to creep in. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. Because once you recognize these 4 common mistakes, you can take simple, powerful steps to avoid them and turn your later years into your strongest, most peaceful chapter yet. Imagine waking up every morning feeling calm, connected, and confident about where your life is heading. Imagine reconnecting with people you love, feeling healthier in both body and mind, and rediscovering the excitement of learning new things again. That's exactly what this video will help you do. So stay with me until the end, because I promise what you're about to learn could completely change the way you experience life after 65. Let's begin with the very first and most common mistake, one that quietly destroys peace and happiness for so many seniors, yet is so easy to fix once you see it clearly. Mistake number 1, drifting away from real connections. One of the easiest traps to fall into with age is letting your social world shrink. You start telling yourself that friends are busy, family has their own lives, and maybe it's just normal to spend more time alone. At first, it seems harmless. A few quiet evenings, a few unanswered calls, but gradually, that silence starts to feel heavier. What begins as comfort can quietly turn into isolation. Here's the truth. Human connection doesn't lose its importance with age. It becomes even more vital. Whether you're 30, 60, or 85, laughter, conversation, and companionship are what keep the heart alive. When you stop reaching out, you're not just missing people. You're missing shared moments, stories, laughter, and the feeling of truly being seen. And science backs this up. People who stay socially connected live longer, think sharper, and feel happier. Loneliness isn't just emotional pain, it's a health risk, as serious as poor diet or lack of movement. I once heard about a retired teacher named Frank. In his late 70s, he spent most of his days at home fixing little things around the house. He thought he was just enjoying quiet time, until one day he realized months had passed without a real conversation. That's when he made a change, joining a local group, meeting old friends again, and he said it felt like coming back to life. Frank's story didn't end with loneliness. It taught him something powerful. The moment you take even one small step toward connection, life has a way of meeting you halfway. He thought no one cared, until he realized he had stopped reaching out. That one breakfast with the neighbors changed everything. Laughter, conversation, belonging. It reminded him that sometimes healing starts with a simple hello. So don't convince yourself it's too late to meet new people or that you'd just be a bother. You're never too old to be seen, heard, and appreciated. Pick up the phone, visit a friend, join a walking group, or share a cup of tea with your neighbor. These aren't small acts, they're lifelines. Because connection isn't optional as we age, it's essential for happiness, purpose, and even longevity. Mistake number 2, ignoring your body and mind. The second big mistake creeps in so quietly, most people don't even notice it happening. Neglecting your physical and mental health. We start to accept every ache, every pain, every bit of fatigue is just part of getting older. And slowly, we stop trying. Maybe you skip a doctor's appointment, decide the morning walk can wait, or push aside those moments of sadness that never seem to leave. One skipped habit becomes 2, and before long, your strength, energy, and confidence begin to fade. Here's the truth. Slowing down isn't the same as giving up. Rest is important, but rest is not retreat. Your body still thrives on movement. Your mind still craves stimulation, and your spirit still needs care and connection. Little choices like what you eat for breakfast, whether you stretch in the morning, or how often you challenge your mind all stack up over time. Neglecting them doesn't just affect your body, it steals your motivation too. And when it comes to mental health, too many of us were raised to stay quiet about our struggles, to keep our worries bottled up and handle it on our own. But silence only makes things heavier. Talking about what's on your mind, even with one trusted person, can be life-changing. Let me tell you about Martha, an 82-year-old woman with a warm laugh and a love for gardening. After her husband passed, she stopped doing the little things that once made her happy. Morning walks, tending her flowers, chatting with neighbors. She thought the sadness would fade on its own. Instead, her energy and health began to slip. It wasn't until her daughter convinced her to join a local fitness class for seniors that everything began to shift. The gentle movement, the laughter, the new friendships, they didn't just strengthen her body, they healed her spirit. That's the secret. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's the foundation for joy, independence, and peace, no matter how old you are. Martha's story reminds us that a small step towards self-care can turn everything around. A short talk with her doctor, a few counseling sessions, and a gentle exercise routine helped her rediscover her spark. It's proof that paying attention to your mind and body doesn't just add years to your life, it adds life to your years. When you ignore your health, it's not just your body that slows down, your entire world starts to shrink. You stop moving as much, socializing feels harder, and before you know it, the days start blending together. Remember, the problem isn't aging, it's believing that decline is inevitable. Even small choices, like a short walk, a cheerful call to a friend, or keeping up with your checkups, protect your independence and joy. And if you're still watching this far, I want to say thank you. Type number 2 in the comments so I know you're with me. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. Your support helps us keep creating videos that inspire and uplift. Now, let's keep going.
Mistake number 3, holding on to regret and resentment. If there's one habit that quietly poisons happiness, it's carrying the weight of old regrets. We all collect them. Things we wish we'd said, choices we wish we'd made differently, relationships that ended before we were ready. It's human to look back sometimes. But when those thoughts start replaying like an old film, they begin to shape how we see today. That's the danger. Regret feels reasonable. You might think, if only I'd done things differently, or I can't forgive what happened. But clinging to those memories doesn't rewrite the past. It only steals your peace in the present. Over time, those old emotions can harden into bitterness, and that bitterness can cloud everything, your mood, your health, even how you connect with others. The truth is, every time you relive an old wound, you invite that pain to live with you again. Forgiving yourself or someone else isn't weakness, it's strength. It's the decision to stop letting the past have power over the days you still have left. Letting go doesn't mean you forget what happened. It means you finally make room for something better. Laughter, connection, calm. Because peace doesn't come from changing your past. It comes from choosing not to let it define your future. Edward's story shows us something profound, that sometimes peace isn't found by fixing the past, but by releasing it. He spent years replaying a family argument, believing that bitterness somehow protected him from being hurt again. But when he finally wrote a simple letter, not to rehash old pain, but just to say, "I miss you," everything began to change. That one act lifted a weight he didn't even realize he was carrying. Forgiveness didn't erase the past, it freed him from it. You see, holding on to regret and resentment is like walking through life with a heavy backpack full of stones. Every day gets harder, not because the world changed, but because we refuse to put the bag down. Letting go doesn't mean pretending it never happened. It means choosing peace over pain. It means deciding that your future deserves more space than your memories of hurt. And at this stage of life, that's real wisdom. Learning to give yourself the same grace you've given others. Because in the end, forgiveness isn't something you do for them. It's something you do for you. It opens the door to calm, to laughter, and to new beginnings you might have thought were long gone. Mistake number 4, refusing to adapt to change. There's one more mistake that quietly drains joy in our later years: resisting change. It's easy to fall into the belief that what worked 20 or 30 years ago should still work now. And there's comfort in that. The familiar feels safe. But life doesn't stop evolving. The world keeps spinning forward. And when we refuse to move with it, we risk being left behind. Sometimes it starts small, shrugging off new technology, ignoring a new medical approach, or feeling lost when the grandkids start talking about things that make no sense to us. Maybe you've caught yourself saying, "Things were better in my day." And maybe they were. But the truth is, every day brings its own kind of better. Change isn't the enemy. It's the invitation to keep growing. Take Helen, for example, a bright, sharp woman in her late 70s who swore she'd never touch a computer. She didn't like the screens, the passwords, the endless updates. But over time, she realized she was missing out. Photos from her grandkids, video calls with her sister, even simple conveniences like managing her bills from home. When she finally decided to learn, with a little help from her grandson, it didn't just open her world digitally, it opened her heart emotionally. She found joy in reconnecting, pride in learning something new, and a spark she thought had faded. That's the beauty of adapting. It keeps you alive inside. Life never stops changing, and neither should you. Because the moment you stop growing, you stop truly living. Helen's story is a beautiful reminder that change doesn't have to be frightening. It can be freeing. Once she gave herself permission to try, she discovered new ways to connect, create, and enjoy life again. That's the magic of staying open. It keeps the heart young, the mind curious, and the spirit alive. The world won't slow down just because we prefer the old ways. But when we choose curiosity instead of fear, every new day becomes a chance to grow. Learning something new, whether it's technology, a hobby, or a different way of thinking, doesn't just expand your world. It proves to you that it's never too late to begin again. If you're still watching and found these ideas meaningful, type number 4 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an inspiring new video. Your support means the world. It helps us keep creating uplifting stories and insights for you. Until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, you're never too old to begin a brighter chapter.